Welcome everybody to another LifeVantage Eagle Team training meeting, where Kai and I do our very best to bring you key speakers and teachers who leverage their business experience and helping you learning more and being successful. So get out your pens, get out your notebooks, and be ready to take some notes for some amazing information you guys are about to hear. I'd like to introduce a good friend and one of our key mentors, our Elite Pro 9, Tony Kratzowitz, who is going to explain a slight change on who will be providing the training tonight. So with that said, please take it away, Tony.
Thank you so much, and it's an honor to be on here. Good morning, our Philippines family, and those who are here in the U.S., good evening. Tony Kratzowitz from St. George, Utah. Little bit slight change, you guys. I've had this heck of a time trying to get home today, and I thought for sure that I would be home and sitting at my computer ready to do a Zoom. And so I reached out to one of my good friends, Dr. Michael Lyman, who's an Elite Pro 7 in Sacramento, California, to actually cover the content of tonight's meeting. But I just want to kick it off, you guys. And I know we're going to talk about the invite. Mike will dig into this. But this is just the bedrock of our business. We can do a lot of things to sharpen our minds, understand more about network marketing, about our company and products. But if we never get out there and invite, we never get out of that comfort zone, so to speak, and just get out there and do that inviting, nothing's really going to happen in our business. And anytime you talk to anybody that's got to Pro 5, 6, 7 and up in the elites, we do a ton of inviting. And so Dr. Lyman's going to cover that, you guys, and apologize for not being able to be on here. Sorry, Greg. Sorry, Kai. But we did come up with an audible plan to cover the training tonight. So I'm just thankful for LifeVantage, you guys. I've been a part of this company for over 12 years. It's just been such a blessing to create that leveraged passive income to help just have time on our side. And so Dr. Lyman, if you don't know who he is, he's a really good friend of mine. We've been working together for these 12 plus years. He's just incredible. He's got a deep knowledge of the industry of network marketing. He's a chiropractor, a retired chiropractor now, and just an amazing friend. And I've learned a ton. We always learn a ton from each other, you guys, just in this business and the relationships that are built. So I'm going to turn this over to Elite Pro 7, Dr. Michael Lyman. Are you there?
I am here, buddy, and it is a pleasure to be on the call. Greg, Kai, how are you guys? Tony gave me a call just a little bit ago, you guys, calling out an audible. He loves football speak, so hope you guys caught that. And I'm happy to take the ball and to run with it and maybe share a few things with you guys. Kai and Greg, love what you guys have done with your team, and I know you guys are doing a lot of exciting things kind of all over the globe, so congratulations on that. So yeah, I just want to cover a little bit for you guys on the invitation. And I want to echo what Tony just said to you. Whether you're new at network marketing or whether you've been around a long time, you guys, it's kind of the same deal. Everything starts with the invitation. Without the invitation, nothing gets done, okay? I remember so clearly when I first joined this company, and I was learning all these incredible things, all this sciencey stuff I was trying to dig into. And man, it was almost overwhelming how much incredible and very important information was coming my way. And I was trying to understand it all. And I remember so clearly that feeling that I had of, gosh, now what? How do I convey this over to somebody else? And it resulted in long, drawn out, very complicated invitations, if you want to call them that, okay, in the beginning. But over time, you guys, I've learned the value of keeping things simple. And that's really what I want to share with you guys tonight. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story if I could take just a second. Early on in the process, I actually happened across Jim Rohn. Do you guys all know who Jim Rohn is? I'm gonna assume everybody does, okay? If not, you got to look that guy up, right? He's an icon mentor, Tony Robbins' original mentor, et cetera, et cetera. Just a phenomenal individual. And I had been listening to this guy for years. So imagine how I felt walking down a hotel hallway and seeing him about to go have lunch with the guy. It was like, I was just starstruck. Oh my gosh, that's Jim Rohn. And so I'm scrambling in my head. I go up and I introduce myself. I'm scrambling to think, how can I take advantage of this? What can I ask this guy, right? And it was so funny because I think he could see between me, trying to find the words and the look on my face. And he was just such a wonderful guy. He's got so much grace. He finally just kind of like took me off the hook and he said, hey, listen. And he asked me just a couple quick things. I kind of told him who I was. And I was just getting started. He goes, look, this journey that you're going to be on is going to be complicated. There's going to be a lot of obstacles. There's going to be a lot of challenges. A lot of stuff's going to be swimming through your head. Okay. But he goes, if I can give you one piece of advice, which is all I really wanted, right? What was the thing from Jim Rohn? He said, no matter what, at every phase, just figure out what's the main thing here. What's the main thing? Okay. He goes, just work on that. Just take care of the main thing when it's the main thing. And it'll lead to incredible success like you could never have anywhere else in this industry. And I've always remembered that. So even tonight, you guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about the main thing, right? We need to learn how to invite. The invitation is the beginning of the system that we have. So in LifeVantage, we have the ITT system, Invitation Tool Team, okay? And it's designed that way on purpose. So whether you're a brand new person or whether you are, a seasoned professional with the company, you should be using the ITT system because it works the best for the person that we're speaking to. It's really all about them. It's not so much about you. In other words, if we could potentially sit down with someone and we could be the invitation and we could be the tool and do an incredible presentation, and then we could back it all up and tell them all the reasons why it's all so important. We could try to be the entire circle, but that's actually not what's best for the person that you're trying to share this with. You want them to have a very clean experience so that they can then replicate that clean experience, remembering that network marketing is a duplication machine. Okay? Does that make sense? So it sets the stage for the fact that if there was ever anything in this process to master, it's the invitation. Okay? If you can master the invitation, you can build an incredible business with this company and inside this industry. Okay? So let's do what Jim Rohn said, and let's think about what the main things are. All right. So the main thing, number one, the first main thing in mastering the invitation is to actually do the invitation. Okay. You got to go to work. You actually got to get the thing done. If you guys are familiar, we have something called a launch guide. Inside the launch guide, okay, I think there's lots of things in the launch guide, but to me, the most important two things is at the very beginning and at the very end. Okay. In the very beginning, you see a calendar. I don't see very many people using that calendar. I recommend that you do. Okay. And so here's how to use the calendar. Number one, if you're the brand new person and you're kind of going to work on this on yourself, you need to be able to employ yourself. That's a wonderful concept. Okay. And by that, what I mean is take a look at that calendar and whatever else is going on in your life, okay, know what times through the week you are employing yourself to build your LifeVantage business. Set some specific time aside, not to clear your desk, not to get ready, but to literally start making the invitations, making the calls, okay? Excuse me. If you're the sponsor for someone, then what I would recommend is you use that same calendar, except set that time aside for both of you. Take your brand new person, take them by the hand, realize again that they're going to need some mentoring and some guidance, and say, hey, listen, when inside the week can we go to work? Give me 5 hours inside your work week that we can schedule together and we will go to work together, okay? I highly recommend it. It's very effective, and it absolutely ensures that your brand new person gets off to the correct start, okay? So it can be like that, where you're scheduling specific time you guys. Or again, if you've got a super busy day and you're literally fitting this into the nooks and crannies, as they say, of your day, then give yourself a different type of a goal, a different type of a goal to meet, which would be decide how many people, how many contacts every single day that you're going to reach out to. Again, a very effective way to do it, okay, especially if you're on the fly, because you walk out the door with whatever your number is. Say it's 3, say it's 5. You just pull them right off of your contact list. Today, I'm contacting these 5 people, okay? And then you walk out the door knowing what it is that you need to accomplish before your workday ends, for your LifeVantage workday, okay? I would say also, you guys, on that same note, very, very quickly, is something that's been really helpful to me and to a lot of people, is to do something that we talked about a number of months ago, which was to jumpstart those 5 contacts. This is really a good idea, you guys. And what that means is, if you walk out the door with your 3 or your 5, whatever the number is for you, okay, start the day by just shooting out a quick text to them, okay? Just a benign text, hey, Greg, what's up? Hey, man, you free later on? Just some kind of a quick question that you're kicking out there to your 5 guys that you intend to talk to that day to start the conversation. It's awesome, because now all you're doing is responding to the texts, and then you're going to work it into the invitation, if that makes sense. We'll talk about that in just a second. So there's a couple quick ideas, you guys, about how to schedule it or how to have some sort of a goal to cause you to actually go to work so that you're actually building your business, okay? The second part of this thing is to know the purpose, right? What is an invitation? If we don't really understand the purpose of the invitation, it's easy to say too much. It's easy to go way off into left field and start sharing too much and confusing people, okay? We have to know what is our intent in creating this invitation. And the intent needs to be nothing more complicated than getting them on a tool. We want them to see some third-party information, not coming from us. Does that make sense? Okay? If you understand that your only goal, my only goal in calling Greg, okay, let me decline this. Sorry, you guys. If I'm calling Greg, my only goal is to get him to watch the ABC video or to get him to watch a webinar. It'll probably make my invitation pretty clean. I won't get too confused. I won't take him off in several directions. So again, make sure that you understand that that's your only intent. Those will guide the words. Now, speaking of the words, you guys, this is number 3, okay? Use words people understand, okay? Part of your goal and part of the strength of getting somebody to the tool is to help them to understand what's in it for them, okay? If you jump into this all excited and start to say, Dr. Joe McCord and LifeVantage and Protandem and SOD and super, oxide dismutase and oxidative stress, you guys, nobody understands. They don't know what those words mean. Okay, they have no idea. There's no paradigm for that in their world, right? So you're gonna start off using words they understand to give them a sense of what's in it for them. Now, there's lots of different approaches. You can approach with the product, okay? But if you want to build a business, the most successful distributors that I've seen in this company, they have learned and mastered the art of leading with the business, talking about the product, but leading with the business, okay? So understanding that if we're going to use words that people understand, and if they're going to get a sense of what's in it for them, and if we want them to understand that we're causing them to look at something that can be a business to them where they can make income, what we're going to be able to do is we want to be able to lead to the concept of, are you open? Okay? And they need to be able to have a sense of what they're saying that they're open to. All right? So you guys, what that's going to sound like, again, we can talk about product, but what it's going to sound like, instead of just jumping in and saying, hey, just watch this video, right? If we just send them to the ABC video, that's great. It's a powerful tool. But now think about it from their perspective. They're watching a video that doesn't talk anything about business. It talks about this cool new science and this pill, this product, but they're gonna think, well, what's Greg telling me to do? Does he want me to buy this product? What's going on here? See, it leaves them confused. However, if Greg calls me up and says, hey, Mike, how's it going, man? Hey, did I catch you at a good time? Listen, I've run across something. You and I are constantly talking about how to make money or where our future's going or our need for retirement, something that he knows is important to me. I've run across something. Hey, listen, take a quick look. Could be something we can do together, something Kai and I are pretty excited about. We're seeing it as a pretty big opportunity. Do you have a second to check it out? Are you open to taking a look at something? Okay. Do you see the difference? He's going to now show me the product science, but he's framed it in my mind to where I'm very clear what Greg is asking me to do. He's asking me, am I open to opportunity? You guys. So again, make sure that inside your invitation, excuse me, is a clarity of your intent, right? What are you trying to get them to do? What's in it for them? Okay. And I'm going to end with this. Be prepared, because you should have inside from the beginning to the end, you should be basically knowing what you're driving them to, the reason that you're driving them to it. Okay. And then you should also, I know Greg's laughing, you should have kind of a fallback strategy so that you're never caught flat-footed. Here's what I mean by that. I'm going to call my buddy Greg. I know I want him to look at the whole thing. Greg, what's up? Did I catch you at a good time? Hey, listen, man, got something to run past you. You know, is life catching you? You know, what's going on with you? How's COVID been treating your industry? Whatever questions again you wanted to kick this off with. Okay, are you open? And I'm going to get him to take a look at something. Okay, number one, I'm going to be prepared for him to ask, what is it? Okay, it's going to happen, you guys. Very few people are just going to go, sure, send me the video or whatever you've got on your mind. Of course, they're going to ask, what is it? Okay, so have a sense of how you're going to answer that question. Okay, I answer it pretty much the same way every time. Listen, Greg, it's something you've never seen. But it's a NASDAQ traded company. These guys have a patented biotechnology. I know that's pretty wordy. Doesn't really matter what it is. The point is, it's going to replace a huge multi-billion-dollar industry. A bunch of money's going to shift. If you're at all open to more ways of creating income in this next year, take a quick look. Let's chat about this. I'd love to see if you see it the way I see it. Something like that, okay? I know what my what is it answer is going to be. But you'll notice no LifeVantage, no protandem, no superoxide dismutase, no oxidative stress, none of that stuff. I said stuff Greg can understand. NASDAQ traded, patents, biotechnology. I even dismissed that and said, you don't need to know what that is. Okay, you'll see, right? Okay, but it sounds good. Biotechnology sounds cool. Okay, right? But I told him what the reason I'm calling is that because these guys are going to shift a huge multi-billion-dollar industry. A lot of money is going to get made, and there's a way for us to get in on the front side of this thing. Check it out. Anxious to see whether or not you see this the way I see it. Okay, that's just my way of answering that question. You can have your way of answering that question, but be prepared for it so that it's smooth and you're not caught off guard. The second part, you guys, of having a strategy is to realize the numbers, okay? You can do everything right. I remember when Tyler Daniels first told me this. Gosh, it helped me so much because he said, listen, Mike, here's the way this is going to work, okay? There's only about 20% of the population at any given time that's at all open, okay? So expect that. You can do everything right. It doesn't mean it's going to work out the way you want it to work out. We're trying to find out who they are, what they want, and are they open? Okay, right? We're just trying to find out if they fit into what we're inviting them to take a look at. So what that means is expect to do like 10 presentations. You can do everything right 10 times, and you're going to bring in maybe one or two people. Okay. That's fantastic. Okay. Now that I have that expectation, I shouldn't expect everything to go perfect in my invitation as I'm sending them to the video and to anything else. So I should actually have, if I'm going to be a professional, I should have a little bit of a fallback plan, okay? So that nothing Greg says catches me off guard. If he's excited about it, fantastic. We move right on through ITT, right? Invitation tool, he watches the video. I call him immediately afterwards. He says, yeah, Mike, gosh, this is really great. How'd you find out about this? And the conversation starts to flow. I know, Greg, isn't this cool? Hang tight. Okay, I got to get you introduced to Kai. Kai is the person who showed this to me. She knows so much more about it, et cetera, et cetera. I move right into my tool. So if it all goes smooth, fantastic. ITT, great. But what if Greg's a little confused? What if it's not moving smoothly? Okay, now what? Again, have a little bit of a fallback planned, you guys, okay? Meaning that when I call him, I say, what struck you about this? And let's say he gets distracted and starts talking about product or health, or says, hey, my mom's got this or that. What about, gosh, do you think that this could help her? He's clearly not in business mode. He's heading in a different direction, okay? I'm going to say, do the same kind of a thing. Hey, fantastic, meet Kai. Maybe he can't meet Kai. Maybe he doesn't want to meet Kai, okay? He's backpedaling right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, Greg, not a problem, man. Glad you were able to take a look at the whole thing. I'm right there with you. The product's fantastic. It doesn't sound like the business thing is really striking you right now. Would it be more comfortable? Would you like to just try the product? There's a way for you just to try the product, okay? Would that be a better place for you to start? And you guys, just the people that are going to be customers, just enroll them as customers, okay? They can learn more about the product. Give them a month to be on the product. Circle back. I can't tell you how many guys I've let off the hook in the middle of the recruiting conversation just to say, Greg, doesn't sound like it's adding up, but would you be more comfortable just trying the product? Sounded like you're excited. Yeah, I really would, Mike. Thank you. Fantastic. Not a problem at all, man. I totally get it. Let's get you on the product. Let's circle back in another month or so. Let's see how you're feeling. And in the meantime, is it okay if I shoot you some more information? Let's see if maybe this business thing can start to make more sense. Can you guys see how I have a fallback that keeps Greg comfortable in the conversation? It can go all the way back to, what if he doesn't want to try the product? Again, not a problem. I totally understand. I say that all the time. Not a problem, Greg. Hey, man, I totally understand. But listen, while I've got you here, you did see what a big deal this was. Okay, let me ask you, who do you know? Because I'm running with this thing. So I will double down on my posture, my positioning. What am I doing with this thing? Okay, and I'll say, Greg, no problem, man. You don't see it, no big deal. It's all good. I get it. Okay, but let me ask you before I let you go, who do you know? Because I'm telling you, buddy, I am running with this thing. I see it big. These guys are going somewhere. So listen, who do you know? And then I hit him with, I know the specific things that I want to ask for. Who do you know who's is not going to leave money on the table? Who do you know if they saw this same opportunity? Who do you know who's the most entrepreneurial minded kind of guy? Who do you know who can see around the corner where markets are going? Who do you know who's super talented and not making enough money? Who do you know who doesn't have their retirement prepared? Who do you know who's sick and ought to be hearing about this? You guys have a whole list of who do you know questions so that if you're backpedaling all the way through the thing, okay, you end strong, okay? Greg didn't knock me off my mark. I know where I'm going, okay? And if nothing else, and don't expect him to have a bunch of people he's going to refer to you. But he might, okay? He might, okay? One of my teammates recruited a cardiologist this way. We had the who do you know conversation. She hit him with who do you know, and boom, led to a guy. You know what? I do know a guy that might be interested in what you're talking about. But don't expect it. Mostly I teach you to end with who do you know and to have a fallback strategy so that your posture is correct. So that at the very least, Greg ends the call wondering if maybe he missed something. Because Mike sounds like he knows where he's going. Okay? So those you guys are my best points to you. I know it was I hope that was quick. It was kind of quick and to the point. I'm not sure what you guys do from here, Greg, if you guys open it up to any questions, but.
Yeah, we do. We do open it up for people to have questions. So here's the deal. what we've learned, Mike, is I'm going to announce a couple things and give people a minute or so to get their questions in their mind, or what Kai sent out an email to in the chat. If you have a question, guys, put it out in chat. Okay. Or if you want to ask a question, put your hands up. If you look at like Candy, she has her hand, she had put her hands up.
Hi, morning. Good morning, good evening. Thank you so much. I picked up, I have like so many notes.
Good.
Yes. So my question is, say, I've already spoken to like some people. I got good feedback, not so good feedback, but I want to go back to some of them. So how do I like get it started again, talking to them again, and and because like they've seen the video, they've seen the presentation, they've seen the ABC. Yeah. So how do I go back to them, basically?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. Okay. And so if you don't mind, I mean, I'm gonna say something that should be obvious. That is that, and we can all, you guys, there can be lots of reasons to go back. These might be people we love, that we care about, that we've actually kind of have some emotional investment in. So we're willing to do something maybe, above and beyond. Okay. But I do want to point something out that's inside that question, Candy. And that is that you're looking for specific qualities in these people, and they probably don't have them. So here's what I mean by that. We have to recognize the unique nature of an entrepreneur. And at this moment in time with this company, we're only looking for entrepreneurs. We're really, truly, I mean, if you've got somebody that you love and care about, you really want to bring them along and nurse them along and all that kind of stuff, that's fine, but they better be few and far between, because you don't have a lot of time for that. We find out who they are and what they want, right? And the who they are part is, are they qualified to do this? And they will show you by their response. Okay. And then once they join, they will show you, okay, by their actions. Again, one of the brilliant things that Tyler Daniels, if you guys know Tyler, okay, he's one of our Master Pro 10s and one of the original guys that launched the company. And he used to say this all the time. I think it's a brilliant way to look at it. And he told me specifically, he says, Mike, he goes, let me tell you what you're looking for so you can start to recognize it. Okay. Number one, a burning desire for change in their life. Okay. Burning desire, you guys. That's like no messing around, right? When I heard, as a practicing chiropractor, putting in 14-hour days, having missed so much of my kids' childhoods, that there was a better way of creating income, and I could align myself with a company that had this, okay? My desire was over the top because I wanted out of what I was doing, but I had to replace a big income, okay? So burning desire. Now that might mean that they really, really need to make money, or they might already make a bunch of money, but they still have a burning desire to press forward. Does that make sense? Okay. The second is that they have to be coachable. Okay. And the third is that they have, why? Because this is different than anything that most people have ever done before. It's a completely different concept. Then the third thing is work ethic. So burning desire for change, coachable, and work ethic. Now there's another way of saying it that might actually be a better answer for you, Ken. And that is that they have to see what we see, want what we want, and be willing to do what we're willing to do to get it. Okay? That's what you're looking for. And again, your job, Candy, is to measure their response. So here's what that means. I call somebody up and I say, Greg, are you open? He says, yeah, sure, Mike, I'm open. I'll take a look. Ask me what, why, or what it is. I give him a quick answer to give him a sense of it, right? He looks, right? And now when I call him back and I say, Greg, listen, before I jump into this, how did that strike you? Just share them with me. What were your thoughts? I asked that question because I want to hear what's going on in Greg's head. I want to know what I've got to work with. Okay? I want to know, is he seeing it? Does he see what I see? Right? Okay, in terms of the opportunity. Come on, you guys, let's face it. We have the first product in the world proven to extend life. This product does nothing less than reduce the very biochemical damage that is aging you right this second, right? And the same damage that ages you creates most every disease you can think of. There will never be a product like this, ever. There's never going to be a company like this, ever, right? So we put the mechanism in front of them. We tell them, hey, look at this for the potential to make money. We put a tool in front of them. I'm looking for whoa, where did you find? I'm looking for some response. I want some evidence that he sees what I see. Okay? Then he has to want what I want. What does that mean? He has to want to position himself in front of this. He has to want to capture what is obvious to both of us at that point, where this company is going. Okay? Then that's enough to get them enrolled. But people fail. Most will. Most are just going to fail along the way, and you have to accept that. Now, you can try to make it easier for them. You can try to connect the dots, but Candy, I wouldn't spend a ton of time connecting dots for people. Okay? If they fail the equation, just let them fail the equation. Move on. Okay? I'll come back to a second. Greg, don't let me forget the Carrie Dickey story. Okay?
Okay.
To highlight this. It's very important so that we don't get hung up. Okay? But again, see what we see, want what we want. Willing to do what we're willing to do to get it. Now that begins with the enrollment, obviously. But see, you're not even going to see that until they're a distributor. They've joined you. They've said all the right things. But now, are they truly going to be willing to do what it takes? Are they going to be willing to swing the bat and strike out over and over and over again to find the right people? Are they willing to be coachable? Are they willing to get on a call like this today and listen to those of us that have been at it for 13 years? We're trying to save you time, which is, Candy, why I'm answering the way I'm answering you. Okay? Again, you can bring people along, love on them all, but remember, as a professional, you're measuring their response. What do I have to work with? Okay? And then you're going to take that and determine whether or not this is somebody that you can put time into. Because that's what's so valuable for you right now, Candy. Okay? I'm going to highlight this little example of why I'm saying what I'm saying with this quick story from Carrie, because it's such a brilliant point. I remember when Carrie Dickey first went Pro 10, and she did it very, very quickly. And she came up to Sacramento in California, and she did an LVA for us. And she said, you guys, we just interviewed all the Pro 9s and the Pro 10s, and we ran through the numbers. Okay, do you guys want to know the numbers that it took for me to get to Pro 10? Of course, everybody's, yeah, of course, right? Well, here's what she said, and I'm close, right? But she said, I called and spoke with I put about 300 invitations out there. Okay, 300 people. She says, out of that, about half, okay, actually listened to the whole thing. Went through a presentation and watched the ABC video, about half. Out of that, 30-something actually enrolled with her. And she said out of that, about 6 actually did something. So do you see where I'm going, Candy? Okay. You don't need 1 million people. You don't need everybody to say yes. You don't even need to circle back to them if you don't want to. If you love them and you want to, okay, great. Okay. But mostly what you're getting paid to do, if you want to build a business, is find business partners who see what we see, want what we want, and are willing to do what we're willing to do to get it. Okay? Right. And it shouldn't be that hard. You'll know them when you see them. They're so obvious. Okay? Right. How do you circle back to somebody? The only effective way that I know to circle back to somebody, okay, is to give them a breath and probably tell them ahead of time, like I was saying a few minutes ago, if it doesn't seem to be adding up or whatever, I try to take it away from them before they turn me down so that it's in my court. Okay? So if I just feel like it's not coming together, I'll do exactly what I just said. Candy, it's just, hey, listen, I appreciate your time, but it just feels like this isn't coming together business-wise. If it isn't making sense to you, I totally understand. Don't even worry about it. And then I'll roll back. Can I get back to you? Right? You want to give it a little bit of thought? I don't know if I'm just catching you at a bad time or what, but can I get back to you? Usually if you ask if you can get back, they'll almost always say yes. And now you have an open lane to get back to them as is appropriate. Does that make sense? If they shot you down already and you're trying to circle back, then just go back with the truth card, right? Hey, I've been at it. You know, I'm bringing some people into this thing. Gosh, this thing is making so much sense to me. Greg, I got to tell you, you caught me so off guard the other day when you didn't see it, because I know you're an entrepreneur. Like compliment them. Tell them like real compliments. Tell them what you really see in them, why you called them in the first place, so that it makes sense that you're calling again to kind of say, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to give this thing a second look, right? And maybe at that point you can go, listen, you know what? I feel like I didn't give you a fair shake. I feel like maybe I confused you, so you take the responsibility, right? And in that, you bring up a couple of key points that maybe didn't get brought up the first time, right? With the way the world's going and all the insecurities, you know, I know that it just didn't seem to make sense, but are you sure you don't want to take a look? Because again, Greg, you know, it's a NASDAQ traded company. I mean, goodness, they've got a patented biotechnology. That's the direction the world's going. Being able to free yourself up, are you sure? Again, Candy, there's no perfect way to do it. Play the truth card the best you can. And again, but then again, don't spin your wheels too long. Okay? I promise you, the right people, you'll know it. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, actually my mistake was that I did the invite, I did the presentation, but I didn't do the third party. So that was my biggest mistake. So
yeah.
It's more of that, like, how do I get back to that person and try to introduce Kai? Or like, you know
what? I mean, the way you would do that, I mean, one way, again, there's lots of ways, Ken. You're creative. Obviously, you're talented. But the truth card always works, right? And by that, what I mean is just what you said. Like if it was Greg, you know, you'd call him back and go, Greg, hey, listen, I know I tried to explain this to you and it just didn't seem to add up. Okay, I probably didn't make it very clear. You know, what I've learned lately is to you know, help I've got a mentor now, you could say, right? I've got somebody who's super successful in this company who's now helping me, okay, to get the point across. Love to be able to put this back together. Can we take one more shot at that? And Greg, listen, if it still doesn't add up, please don't worry about it. But I just can't have it be on me that you weren't able to see what I see. Love it. Would you give me another shot at this thing? Come meet my dear friend Kai. I think she can make it make sense for you. Okay. And again, if it still doesn't, please don't even worry about it. And you know, that kind of a thing. The truth card is probably always the best way to circle around, because when you're like that, it's hard. It's hard for somebody to say no. But if they do say no, then you really know that was not the right person. Okay? And you can cross them off your list. All right?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else?
Beth,
Yes.
you haven't asked yet. You're up.
Yes. Thank you so much, Michael. I've actually learned so much already. But, most of the people that we introduced to are not network marketers, right? So their mindset is getting, it's still the same traditional job, right? So it takes time for them to make the money that they wanted, right? So sometimes they reach the Pro 3 rank. And, some people takes time to get there, but, they have the heart to do it. But sometimes they get impatient waiting for that, big money, right? So how can we, encourage them to, keep going? As a leader, we can only say so much. So let me learn from you.
Okay, again, great question, right? And so essentially the best thing you can do is set proper expectations. Okay. They have to have a perspective. Again, nobody knows how to deal with this. It's not like just going to work for a salary that you get paid in 2 weeks. But so you've got to, my approach to that is, number one, to have to help them gain a clear vision of why network marketing, why this industry is better. And I'm just bold about that. This is a better way of creating income, okay? But it's different. It's built. It's not just awarded or given. You're not hired to it. You are going to build something. So I make sure that they understand those concepts. Okay, you're not just going into business, but you're going to build an asset. So again, I'm painting a vision so that they can have the patience, they can have the determination to get through this thing. In talking about the concept of building an asset, right? We're going to explain the concept of network marketing, and then it opens up things like leverage. And I make sure they understand what leverage is. I make sure they understand the concept of being paid with what we call, subscription-based income, monthly or ongoing income, whatever terminology has been correct so far to represent the concept of residual income. Okay, but we're building a book of business, right? So you can start to use terms like that. I love describing it again as building an asset, and then I'll explain literally the mechanism so that they can picture all the people that are going to be pursuing this for their own purposes. Our job is to be the inspiration and to show them that it's even possible, okay? In describing the asset, a lot of times, you guys, I will use the income disclosure statement, but I'll use it and they'll allow them to see that. They'll see that, right? But then remember, a lot of times they're looking at it from the point of view of an employee. So they'll look at a Pro 3 and see $600 a month, and they won't be very impressed. They'll see Pro 5 and be $3,000, and they might just start to get more impressed, but they might make that. I don't know, right? Depending on the economy of the country that they're in, right? But remember, if they don't understand network marketing and the why this is a better industry to be in, why should they build this asset? They're looking at those like against their current monthly income. So I like, and I use a lot, that chart. Greg, have you seen that chart where we compare the linear to the residual?
Yes.
Okay. And we show the amount of money you'd have to have in the bank, okay, at 6% interest, and the number of years it would take to acquire that at saving $10,000 a year, right? To equal a monthly income at a given pro level. Do you know the chart that I'm talking about? You
Yes,
guys,
I do.
that's a wonderful
we have
chart.
that. Yeah.
That's a wonderful chart because it puts it into perspective for them, right? So if I call you, Ruth, and I say, hey, there's a better way, or Beth, there's a better way of creating income. See, now I can show you what I mean by that. Here's why I think it's better, right? Because we're going to build this. It's going to be ongoing. It's a book of business. But gosh, look what it means. Like, I'm trying to think about how much that is. So like a Pro 5, let's see. So a 7 is a couple million. So $1 million is 6, and 5 is about like a $500,000 asset. Okay. So I can say to her, Beth, look, just getting this far, just getting into this income right here, if I got you just to Pro 4, it would be like creating a $250,000 asset. Do you have a plan to create a $250,000 asset in the next 6 months? Okay. I can show you how to do it over here. Okay. This is what I love about this industry. Okay. So you can say things like that to cause her to see that $1,100 a different way. See it for the full value that it is. Now, why do I go through that whole explanation? Okay. It's again, so that they've got the foundation of the vision of where this thing is going. So that will actually help them through the adversity. Okay. But we will absolutely set the expectation for the adversity. Again, I'm going to go back to my guy, Tyler Daniels. Okay. Because he not only said, hey, Mike, this is a 20% game. Okay. 2 out of 10. So you do the presentation 10 times, the odds are that 2 will join you. Okay. Do that 5 times so that you have 10 distributors that have joined you. Now what's your next expectation? 1 is going to do it. 1. Okay.
1 out of 10.
1 person out of 10 is really going to do it. They'll join you, right? Why? Because it's easy to see. It's easy to want. It's hard to do. Remember?
That's
see what
true.
we see, want what we want, willing to do what we're willing to do to get it. That's what knocks them out. Okay? But I mean, my goodness, look at those statistics. Only 20% came in the beginning, right? and only 2 out of the, if it was 20, and only 2 out of those 20 are actually going to do something. Okay? We have to teach these expectations, you guys, so that nothing's a surprise. But the beautiful part about it is why I told you the Carrie Dickey story. You don't need very many people, right? Which is why we plan to go to work, right? To tell our 200 or 300, how many people do we have to tell to get our 30, to get our 6 who are going to actually really, really go to work with us and lock arms? We don't even know who they are until we've gone all the way through the process of inviting, presenting, enrolling, and then seeing who's really going to do it. Does that make sense?
Yes, Mike.
Okay. And Beth, we don't fight it. Okay? Jim Rohn also said something wonderful, a piece of his training, where he said, you love on them all. You let the 10 percenters be 10 percenters. Who are they? They're the people who are just along for the ride. They just like the environment. But they're not going to invite anybody. They're just there. Okay, great. You can be there. Okay? The 30 percenters, the 60, there's going to be so many different types of people. You love on them all. You give them a place in your team, but you have to see them as at best bench players. They're here to learn. They're here to watch the real team. But remember, you can only put 9 men on a baseball field. Okay? That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay? But there's
Absolutely.
an entire farm system and spectators and everything. There's a whole mechanism, right? Okay? That's leading into the 9 guys that get to take the field. You are responsible to know who those 9 are going to be for you, for your purposes, for your goals. You don't have time to spend with the others, but you love on them. You give them a place where they can come and where they can learn. You invite them to everything, but you're constantly watching their actions. Are they willing to do what we're willing to do? Make sense?
It's an awakening for me.
Yeah, isn't it? It's
And
so
also,
interesting.
Michael, what if, my prospect, I know she's not going to do it, but she has all the connections that I need. How do I,
Play the truth card. Just go listen. Okay. I know that this isn't really the inviting part, the whole do it part. This isn't for you. Okay. But you know what? We could work together. We could capture this for you, and you could, if you're willing to do the work. If she really has those kinds of assets, just get her to see it for the assets. See her as a database that she's opening you up to, and then extend the invitation. I'd still love to enroll you. I'm happy if you'll open up your database to me. I'm a worker. I'll go to work. I'll invite those people. And what you're going to do is you're going to get her to buy into that thought, that idea. Oh, wow. Okay. Beth, really? You're willing to do that for me? Yeah, absolutely. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lay another truth card on her, which is, hey, you know what? This will work a lot better if you'll call and introduce me. What has she done? She's just invited them for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
They might
Yes.
not be your words, but you just accessed her database. So I wouldn't, if I had somebody super talented with a big database and had a bunch of credibility, but if I knew for sure, for some reason, that she wasn't really going to do this, I wouldn't walk away. Heck no. I'd go, listen, let's put a quick strategy together. There's probably a way for us to both capture this thing. You've got a wonderful asset. I'd love to work with your asset. Have I shown you enough to cause you to see how big this really is? Okay. Have I shown you enough? That'd be kind of like the angle I take, right? Do you actually see how big this is? And if she's saying, yeah, I see how absolutely it's huge. It's absolutely incredible. I just don't have time, or I don't really think I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. Right? Then great. If I say, have I shown you enough for you to see? And if there's a hesitation, then I would say, listen, again, I know you're not going to do it. Okay. So, but could I get you on the phone with Kai? Could I get you on the phone with Greg? Could I get you on the phone with some of the people that I know to paint the bigger picture? I'd love for you to see how big this is. And then maybe we could put a strategy together. And you know what, Greg, if it just ends up being that you know some people I should talk to, that would be wonderful too. But would you mind if we started with making sure that your questions are answered? Again, it's just kind of a sophisticated way of making sure that, of increasing the chance that she might change her mind. I don't know, right? Yeah. But you're setting it up for what you really want, which is access to her database.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mike.
You're welcome. Of course. It helps
Okay,
to have been
guys.
for 13 years and haven't made a million mistakes, you guys. Okay. we're happy to get on these calls and share them with you. All right.
Okay.
All righty, guys. Hey, it's a super pleasure to be with you guys. If nobody else has anything.
We learned a lot. Really, guys, invite's the key. We talked about that. Michael did a great job. We were blessed again, and we thank you so much, and Tony, for getting you on board and everything. We look forward to seeing you again at the next event, if not the local one, the global one for the people in the Philippines. Thank you. Have a good night,
You're very
everybody, and we'll be back in training again soon. So God bless.